Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. So today's video is a bit of a different one for me. Recently I went indoor skydiving with the company ifly, and I just wanted to say first of all I had an amazing time. So if you clicked on this video because you're wanting to do some research before you go, or you're thinking of going indoor skydiving, I would definitely recommend it. I had a really good time. But before I went, I was trying to do a bit of research, looking on YouTube, looking for people's vlogs of when they went, and I couldn't really find anything. And I'm definitely somebody who wanted to do a bit of preparation before I went, look at people's top tips for doing indoor skydiving for the first time, and yeah, there really wasn't anything that I could find, so I wanted to make a video on my experience today. First of all though, if you're new here, hi, my name is Charlotte. This isn't my typical type of video. Normally I do fashion, travel and lifestyle vlogs, but I hope you enjoy watching today's video. I hope you find it useful, and I would love it if you would consider subscribing. So in this video I'm going to talk to you a bit about my experience going indoor skydiving for the first time, and also my top tips if you are planning on going as well. But if you've got any more questions for me, I would love to have a discussion in the comments below. And final thing to note before we dive into the video, I am solely going to be talking about my own experience. I'm not a professional, so the tips that I'm giving are kind of for guidance purposes only, but hopefully can give you some reassurance if you're planning on going. Like I said before, my indoor skydiving experience was overall very positive. I would definitely recommend it. It was a really early start because we were kind of limited with the times that we were able to book, but in hindsight I'm actually really glad that we had an early slot, because first thing to note is there is a viewing gallery, so if you, I'm assuming, go in midday, you would probably have quite a few people watching you, whereas because we had an early slot, that was kind of a positive for me. There wasn't too many people there, so yeah, that's my first thing to note. If you don't want loads of people watching you, try and pick an early slot. We went to the ifly in Milton Keynes, but I'm assuming it's going to be the same everywhere. We were sent a waiver to sign before we went, which was liability and stuff like that. When we arrived we were weighed, which then obviously impacts the wind speed when you go into the tunnel. I think one of the things I was worried about before I went was it not supporting my weight and me just falling, and that doesn't happen. That's why they weigh you, because they change it per person. One thing to note is if you've got children in your group and then an adult straight afterwards, you can really hear the difference in the kind of fan, jet, whatever it's called, speed. They are really noisy, but yeah, they change it per person, so you won't be falling. My other fear was then the opposite, was that I was then just going to go in and fly away, and they do hold you in there until you get your balance and until you get your position right. So yeah, you won't be flying away as well. And then my other main worry was how to get in and out of the wind tunnel, and I will overlay the clip of me actually doing the indoor skydiving so you guys can see my first attempt. I did 2 1-minute flights, which I think was good for a first time, and actually I think 1 minute was long enough that I could kind of start to get my position right and that sort of thing, but if I didn't enjoy it, it wouldn't have been too long either. So I feel like 1 minute was a good amount of time, and then going in again for another minute as well. But to get into the tunnel you do kind of have to just trust fall forwards, and they will catch you, but also the wind will catch you as well. It kind of naturally puts you into the position you're meant to be in, but yeah, you do have to kind of trust fall forwards, which is something I probably would have wanted to know. And then getting out is probably the easiest bit. You literally just hold on to the door frames and push yourself forward, and it's easier to get out because then you don't have the wind kind of supporting you anymore, so you can just kind of jump out. So that was my overall experience of doing the indoor skydiving for the first time. Now I'm going to get into some top tips. So my first main tip is, if you are somebody who has long hair, tie it up, but don't tie it up like this. Really tie it in the tightest plaits that you can possibly do. Obviously it is a wind tunnel, so your hair is going to get really knotty, and the tighter you can put it in plaits or anything like that, the better, because yeah, if you don't, your hair will get really knotty. When you're actually doing your skydive, you need to keep your mouth closed. I'm somebody who naturally smiles when I'm nervous, so yeah, I needed to practice keeping my mouth very closed when I was doing the skydive, because as you can imagine, the jets are very strong, so there's a lot of wind being pummeled into your face, and also if you have your mouth open, you're more than likely going to get spit flying all over the place, which is gross. So yeah, try and practice breathing solely through your nose so you can get used to that for when you're actually doing your however many minutes in the tunnel. If you can, I would suggest practicing the skydiving position at home. Once you've booked, you're sent like a training video that shows you the position and also shows you the hand signals as well. You are given training when you get there, but it's quite a lot of information to take in at once, and so I would probably recommend watching that training video a few times before you go, absorbing the information and having a little practice, because you're not given a practice to get into the right position before you get in there. You just kind of figure it out when you're in the tunnel, and it's very loud in the tunnel obviously because of the sound of the jets as well. So yeah, practice at home. Next tip would be to to take any jewellery off before you go. You have to wear goggles, earplugs, a helmet, and then you have like a boiler suit kind of thing over your clothes as well. So you've got a lot to do when you get there to kind of get ready, and I would just recommend taking any jewellery off before you go because you're not going to want it in the wind tunnel. Next tip is not something that I would have known before I went, but something that I would now recommend is when you go in there, don't look down. When you look down, like with your head facing the floor, you go up, and when your head is like looking upwards or like straight, then you go down. So obviously you don't want to be flying really high, so keep your head kind of looking up or like chin tilted up, and then that keeps you, especially if it's your first time, from flying up into the air. Also, don't look down because it is kind of scary because the only thing beneath you is a net. And my final tip is, if you can, bring someone with you who is not doing the skydiving to take photos and videos. Like I said, there is a viewing gallery, so they're able to take photos from that bit, but you're not able to bring anything in with you, obviously, because you don't want to lose anything in the actual tunnel. So yeah, having someone to take photos and videos is really good. They do take photos and like long video of your flight whilst you're in there as well, that you would then have to pay for, but to be honest, it's quite close up and I definitely didn't want that. So those are all of my top tips from doing indoor skydiving for the first time. I hope this video has been helpful. If you've got any other questions for me, I would love to answer them in the comments. And if you are going indoor skydiving, I hope you have a great time. Thank you for watching, and I will hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!